I am Philip, founder and CTO of Amwata Tech. We are a software company based here in Nairobi, and we have operations in South Africa and in the broader world as well. I noticed working in tech, which I've worked in for many years now, that as software developers, we are really serving the overserved, those with money, those who they had options. And then the underserved, those with the ideas, those with the passion, but lacking the money, they were just left behind, and venture capitalists did that as well. So they had this scenario where they needed funding to build an impactful product, but they also needed an impactful product to get funding. And so I said, listen, I want this to be the summation of my career. Is I sat in this difficult space, I made an impact, I gave people access to this wonderful thing we call technology, and it changed people's lives. Everything from websites, mobile applications, to complex integrations such as a 3D manufacturing solution that I want to scale, and I need to automate some of the processes within this solution. Our company is sustainability focused. Then what does that mean? Value number one right there on our website is impact over profit. And so we focus on ideas and founders that are social enterprises or social entrepreneurs or have a social component to what they do. And as well, we build our own internal products. One of them we are pre-launching called ESG Watchtower, which is aiming to make sustainability metrics, ESG metrics, accessible to as many people as possible, individuals and businesses alike. As a company internally, we've set our own goals to meet certain environmental requirements from the software perspective. The lesser known, optimizing your software, using servers that are using clean energy, all these micro things. We're fully remote. We make sure to minimize Zoom meetings because that's server space as well. It's the very tiny things that software companies can do. And on a broader scale, we target social entrepreneurs and enable them with whatever technology that they need. And we build our own products, as mentioned before. And our product, especially ESG Watchtower, we think it's going to be very well positioned to help empower individuals and businesses. We will get data, we'll get your data, we'll get publicly available data, and it'll be fed into our system, and our system will analyze it, give you recommendations. It'll keep one of the unique things, it'll keep track of the fast changing global compliance needs, the policies that are coming out. CS3D was recently passed earlier this year, or it was furthered earlier this year. The conversation's still going. And so these things that your company doesn't know. And on an individual level, things like, especially scope 3 emissions for businesses, they can find a way to measure this. But on an individual level, well, it's essentially unknown. How do you figure out what am I doing today? If I scroll on TikTok for X amount of hours, what is my impact on the environment? It's something you wouldn't even think about. We would like to make that as trivially accessible as possible. And that's what our solution does. Data into accessibility. The direct impact there is getting an understanding of your position as a business and as an individual through the data and the metrics. So you can think of metrics such as energy usage here are very key for for everyone really. And understanding your carbon footprint in terms of my commute is taking this long. And that's going to help you then say, oh wait, I didn't have to go to the mall 7 times. I could have optimized and done my shopping once. Availability, the visualizations that we offer will allow people to then guide themselves essentially towards a more eco-friendly future. We are starting with businesses. There's a big reason for that. It's because they disproportionately have a climate impact compared to individuals. And so targeting businesses, and especially businesses in certain heavy emission industries, is our core focus. But ultimately, the product will be available for individuals to use as well. It's ESG, and ESG usually has a financial undertone. Therefore, we're looking to help businesses actually make money, grow, and do that in a way that's positive for the environment and society as a whole. There's an awareness problem, and this is something that can be bridged through education. Most people, first of all, don't know what ESG stands for. They don't know why it's important. They don't know how it'll benefit their businesses to actually be more eco-friendly, be more socially responsible. The next one would be accessibility of the solution itself. When you're building in Africa, there's little infrastructure to rely on. And so getting this into the hands of, let's say, a high polluting, high opportunity business in a rural area is actually quite complex. We've actually had really great uptake. Conversations we've had with people in manufacturing or energy heavy industries, and as well as sustainability consultants who work across multiple industries. For the businesses, they're like, wow, it's actually pretty tough to get recommendations and stay up to date with policy because we are optimizing for one thing, and then another policy will come out and we'll realize that we have to collect more data, produce different reports, and we don't even know when this policy comes out. And so we have to hire expensive consultants. So this solution would bridge the gap for us. For the consultants, they are often confused about, or they're often overwhelmed by the amount of data they have to collect. And it's all across the world and all across different data sources. And so having a central point for them to come in and be like, this is the company that I'm working on today. This is their data. So very positive uptake, and especially keeping track of policies and getting the recommendations to align to the policies has been something that the companies particularly like. The business model at the moment is very financial heavy, but ultimately we would like to build partnerships to make sure this is something sustainable beyond someone paying a fee for a report or a monthly subscription for the service. And so we're looking to partner with stakeholders in the ecosystem, energy manufacturers, IoT manufacturers, policymakers, green financing investors. That'll help us scale, especially partnering with local organizations and local initiatives, because it's very important in Africa, especially to understand the local landscape, to put the metrics into context and therefore get better advice. At the moment, we are actively looking for partnerships to scale up this venture. Right now, we are actually pre-launching ESG Watchtower, and therefore we're getting early adopters, stakeholder input as early as possible to make sure that we're creating a product that's valuable for all the stakeholders involved. So at the moment, no secured partnerships, no secured funding, but actively looking. What keeps me up at night is we won't be able to reach the people that most need our solution. So that's why we are trying our hardest to get stakeholder input as early as possible. And so you can imagine if we reach out and we deliver a great solution and the only people who can access it are big corporations or large enterprises, then it's actually a failure in my book. We've got a full team and we've got the core team, and actually Joy was actually just giving me a phone call right now. Joy is our product owner, and she's worked extensively on ESG Watchtower to make sure that we captured the needs of the local ecosystem and Africa as a whole, which is where we consider underserved or unactivated in terms of ESG and sustainability. So yeah, it's good talent. I got very lucky to get the colleagues that I've got. Once again, that's luck. I've been very fortunate that when I put myself out there, I attracted the right crowd. And so, in the interviews, I didn't have to say, but it'll be okay later. They were like, wow, you guys are focused on sustainability. We're all for it. We love that you're impact first. And that's actually a sentiment shared by our clients, but that's a story for another day. But yeah, so I was very lucky to get a team that was already passionate about this in one way or another. The sentiment is not that great. I'm an optimist. A lot of people will say an idealist, but the sentiment in general is not that great. In terms of funding, there's this buzz that it's going to dry up. But in terms of solutions, I don't think it's going to dry up at all. We've been seeing the effects of climate change, especially this year. The necessity is there, and so the industry will definitely grow. Where I would like to see the climate tech is more focused on communities and the people rather than the companies. Enough with offsets and the carbon credits. Obviously, sustainability is at our core, and we hope to develop as many solutions in that regard as possible, starting with ESG Watchtower and going in and communicating with stakeholders and developing valuable, impactful solutions. And so hopefully in 5 years, maybe 2 years, maybe 1 year, we'll be a household name on, yes, they're a software company, but no, they're an impact company and they build software.